Welcome to the debut of the EDGE podcast. If you've not already followed our Instagram page, it is the EDGE podcast. Extremely excited to be doing this, man. With you, Asher. Debuting, like I said, we're going to talk about the NFL free agent frenzy that literally had just been. I think it's one of the craziest off seasons ever that I can remember from an NFL offseason. And I think this is great for the direction of the league and just kind of, manipulating what they can with the schedule in the offseason. When they're not playing, it's just as interesting. And I know the NBA has been able to do that with their off seasons, almost becoming seemingly more interesting than their regular season. That's not the case with football, but they are just taking advantage of this schedule that they got now. So is there anything else you want to?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just gonna say I'm super excited to do this too. Like this is what I like to do. I like to talk about sports. Sports is my main passion in life. And yeah, I'm just super excited to start this. And this NFL offseason definitely I think is the craziest NFL offseason of all time. With all these quarterbacks moving around, and as you alluded to with like the NBA, and how so many players are switching teams, so many like big name players are switching teams. They got so much power as a player group. And I think you're starting to see that in the NFL because of the past 2 years with Tom Brady joining a team, the Bucs win a Super Bowl, Matt Stafford joins a team, the Rams win a Super Bowl. And now teams copycat league. Maybe they think that is the way to really get your team over the hump. And
yeah. I mean, like you just said, I mean, the last 2 years, the last two Super Bowl winners have been teams that have gone all in. That's something we've talked about, is that, I thought that wherever Aaron Rodgers would go would be the team that wins the Super Bowl. That obviously he didn't move anywhere. So you see a team, the next best guy, Russell Wilson, probably, in the entire league that was on the market to be moved, goes to the Broncos. And what have they done? Just strictly everything. Win now, signing guys here left and right. They've already got a nice roster intact. They were just missing the quarterback piece. You look at other teams in their division, the Raiders, the Chargers. We'll get into every division. We'll go division by division, but I'm just saying the one that just stands out is the AFC West by far. I mean, just the amount of moves that each team has made. They've got all significantly better. It's just crazy. I love it as a fan. I don't know if this trend will necessarily be the key to winning at a high level consistently, because the Bucs didn't make the Super Bowl. They didn't even make the NFC Championship last year, mostly due to injuries, right? But injuries happen. The Rams, look at them losing Von Miller, right? Odell's going to be out most of the season. Robert Woods will be out half the season, probably. They might not make even the NFC Championship either next year. And they might be in the same boat. But is it worth getting that one Super Bowl? That's kind of the question I think teams have to kind of play with. But yeah, let's get started. Let's get right into it. The first division we will be looking at here is the AFC East. And, my big takeaway from this division and just the teams that, got better or didn't get better was the Bills. I mean, the Bills got a lot better, and they were already a team that was on the cusp of, being a Super Bowl champion, being a Super Bowl contender last year, going toe-to-toe with the Chiefs in the playoffs. And then the year before in the AFC Championship game. I think just like this Josh Allen development, and I know Dable left, so that might affect their offense a little bit, but this development that he has had the last 2 years, I think if he stays on that trajectory, I mean, the Bills could be the team to beat out of this loaded AFC. What do you think about that claim?
yeah, no, the Bills, I love what the Bills have done. I think coming into this offseason, they had weaknesses on the defensive line with especially pass rushers. After you see Mahomes running around forever and your quote unquote number one defense in the NFL can't get a stop, can't get off the field. Boom, you go and get one of the best pass rushers of the past decade, who is still good. Probably on the backside of his career, back end of his prime, but right now he's a tremendous player, as we saw in the NFL in the Super Bowl, I mean, and the playoffs. And you give him you look at the deal and it's like, whoa, like why are you giving this 32-year-old?
I know, yeah, 6 years. It looks crazy, but
Yeah, but really, it's really only, I think it's like 3 years, 50 something million. It's only 50 million in guarantees. So after 3 years, you
yep.
can cut them, you can whatever, keep them, release them. And there's not really any like dead cap or anything. And then the second weakness I think that the Bills needed to attack is the wide receiver core. And I think they actually still do need to sign a wide receiver. There's a Jarvis Landry out there. Someone just opposite of, I know Gabriel Davis made a big outing in the Chiefs game, but someone opposite of Stephon Diggs, so that it's not just Josh Allen, because his team was just Josh Allen. Josh Allen carried them to this point. And now that they know, Josh Allen is the top 3 quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion, you got to go for it now. You get it. You get one of the needs with Von Miller, so you got him, and then you got your rookie from last year, Gregory Rousseau, who played pretty well. That they drafted in the first round, and I think he's got a lot of promise, got a lot of potential. And when you line up those 2 guys on each side, that's a scary pass rushing duo.
Yeah, they also added Shaq Lawson. I think is a nice little signing for the D line. Some other guys as well, Daquan Jones and Tim Settle. Not any big names, but guys that will help. But you said opposite of Diggs at wide receiver, they need to sign somebody. I do agree. They could definitely go out and get a veteran guy, because Emmanuel Sanders was nice last year. They did sign Kumro and Isaiah McKenzie. But OJ Howard, I like that signing a lot. To go with their pairing. I forget the name. What's the name?
Knox.
Yeah, Knox, and OJ Howard will be a deadly duo. And not only can you just, have a run game now, somewhat, but they're also very good vertical, play action threats, Knox and OJ Howard. So I do like kind of the direction they're going right there. They don't need necessarily, 3 or 4 great wide receivers, but if they got guys, like you said, Gabriel Davis, Stephon Diggs, and now you're adding, some versatility in the middle of the field with these tight ends. I think that's a really great direction where they're going. And then one other team as well in this same division, the AFC East, that I thought got better, but sneakily, is the Dolphins. I mean, I love their pairing of Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds in the backfield, along with a long list of other guys that they did sign. Cedric Wilson, I think that was a nice little pickup as well, for their receiving core. Manuel Agba, they've got guys all over the board, a lot of moves. I know that their head coach was scheming a lot of the run schemes with Shanahan. So it's interesting to see Mostert, reunite there with the former coach of his. And Edmonds, like I said, pairing him as a receiving back with Mostert's speed, that could be deadly. What do you like about that?
Yeah, no, I definitely like those running back moves. And as you said, Mike McDaniel, their head coach, he was the run game coordinator in San Fran, and you know how that run game worked out for them these past few years. And when you add a guy like Raheem Mostert with that speed, and Chase Edmonds got a ton of speed as well. He's incredibly shifty and all that too. So I love those moves at running back. Teddy Bridgewater, I think right now the best quarterback on that roster, but he's going to be a backup. That's a solid backup, maybe the best backup in the league. And just, Tua with the injury history, if Tua gets hurt or if he doesn't play well or anything like that, you can go to Teddy,
throw him right in,
and there won't be much of a fall off. Exactly. And then that re-signing of Emmanuel Agba is huge for them, I think, because he's been really good the past 2 years. I think a couple of years ago, he had like double-digit sacks, and then last year he was really good too. So yeah, I love that re-signing. And then I also wanted to talk about another team in this division that I think really improved and is starting to get there, is the New York Jets. I love where this team is going. Just like, I think they have a stud at quarterback. You bring in CJ Uzama, who played really well with the Bengals down the stretch before he got hurt. And then Laken Tomlinson, another great offensive guard there. You bring in DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead. I think Jordan Whitehead's really underrated for that Bucs defense. The safety, I saw him make a lot of big hits and energizing plays for that team. DJ Reed, a solid corner, and then LaMarcus Joyner can kind of just, I mean, he's a solid player too.
Yeah, no, I did like a lot what the Jets did as well. I just, given I know Miami isn't really that much ahead of them as far as, competitive standpoint, but they do have a new regime now. The Jets have been in this solid thing for 2 years now, Zach Wilson era. It's been 2 years, right? So
it's going on to the second year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's going in. So yeah, I mean, they did get better. I like the Dolphins kind of direction a little bit more, but yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
I like the front office for the Jets. Joe Douglas, their GM. I think this is only his second year with the Jets. It's just a whole different front office than what they had with Sam Darnold.
Very dysfunctional before. It was very dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Now I feel like they're definitely trying to fix that. I still think Miami has their dysfunctional issues in the front office, especially after letting go of Brian Flores. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
But
Robert Saleh is the head coach. He's going to run kind of the San Francisco. I mean, he will, obviously. He's the San Francisco defense that they'll run in New York. And LaMarcus Joyner can kind of play like a Jimmy Ward type role, I think, as a safety for them. So probably a couple years away from being a real force, unless Zach Wilson goes crazy his second year, which is possible. But I just love the direction.
Love Zach Wilson.
I do love Zach Wilson.
He's good. I like his ball definitely stands out to me. I'm not gonna lie. His ball has a lot of zip. He looks like he could be something. That's all I'm gonna say. He looks like he could be something. I'm not losing hope on him at all. But hey, moving on. AFC North. All right. Oh my God. This just happened, less than an hour ago. Deshaun Watson is going to the Cleveland Browns on a fully guaranteed contract of $230 million. Now, I mean, I don't know what to get crazy about first. I mean, the fact that you're getting $250 million to this guy, right? And I know he's had the legal trouble and stuff for the past year or two. He is innocent. I mean, he's been proven innocent. I know he's got, the civil cases or whatever now he's got to deal with. But that's not going to result in any criminal charges. So there may be a suspension in line here. But at the same time, $230 million, fully guaranteed. That's the part that gets me crazy. It's the fully guaranteed part. I don't know if that's ever happened, by anybody in any contract. I know it's $80 million more than the most guaranteed money due at signing, or not due at signing, but the most guaranteed money at the signing. I believe Aaron Rodgers had that record just 3 days previous with his 3-year, 4-year deal of $153 million guaranteed. Watson's now at $230. What does this mean for Cleveland? What does this mean for the Cleveland Browns in this stacked division already?
Yeah, this division and the AFC West, who will come up too soon. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like, the Ravens, always a good team. Bengals in the Super Bowl last year. The Browns always had the talent. But now you add a quarterback like Deshaun Watson. I mean,
and don't forget about the Steelers.
And the Steelers too. They got a nice defense. We can talk about them later. I just look at that quarterback. I guess I'm just looking at the quarterbacks right now. Deshaun, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. That is incredible. And it might not even be the best quarterback division trio in the league.
No, literally.
But yeah, bringing in Deshaun Watson, bringing in Amari Cooper too.
I think that was really good for them too.
Yeah. So a top tier quarterback, a top tier wide receiver.
And Njoku on the franchise tag.
Yeah, the defense too, as I said, has always been talented these past couple of years. But yeah, this Deshaun Watson trade, I think this is just really what moves the Browns over the top. I know he went 4-12 with a bad Texans team in 2020. But that was a bad Texans team.
That was, I mean, they got rid of D-Hop, JJ Watt.
Yeah.
Or he was injured, I think. I think JJ Watt was injured, but still.
Yeah, I think he was hurt too. Yeah, but that was a bad team. And I like the deal too. I mean, only 3 first-round picks and 2 other later picks. You don't even have to trade a player. which I thought was like a guarantee. If he went to the Panthers, oh, it would be Christian McCaffrey or like Brian Burns. If he went to the Saints, oh, it would be, you know, someone.
Somebody,
But the
and then
Browns,
the Falcons might have been Matt Ryan.
yeah, yeah, the Browns don't even have to trade a player. And it looks like the Texans, I guess, are trying to build around Davis Mills. We'll see how
Good
that
for
goes.
them. Good for them.
Yeah, yeah.
They're putting
Try
their
something out.
faith in Davis Mills, man. Mr. Longneck, huh? Good for them.
They also, who did they get? They got Jakeem Grant, a good special teamer. David Njoku, they gave him the franchise tag after losing
Hooper.
Hooper. Yep, exactly. Bringing in Chase Winovich, I think that's actually decent too. Like you get something opposite of Myles Garrett. Chase Winovich, not all that, but he's a solid pass rusher.
Yeah, I know. They still have Vernon too, don't they? Olivier Vernon, or did they cut him?
I don't know. I haven't seen him play in a while.
Yeah, I know he's been in and out of the lineup and whatnot, but
Taven Bryan, former first round pick, I think just a whatever rotational defensive tackle. But yeah, I love this for the Browns with this. It's just crazy because Deshaun Watson, like a couple days ago, the news was just, he's saying no to the Browns. Like it's up to the Panthers, the Saints, and the Falcons, and they said no to the Panthers. So then it's up to the Saints and the Falcons. It's like, oh, he's going to be a Saint. No, he's going to be a Falcon. Go back to Georgia. And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, it's just Deshaun Watson decided to play with the Cleveland Browns, which is just insane. And I think it is that fully guaranteed $230 million that really moved the needle there.
As well as their offensive line. Now, you're telling me you're giving Deshaun Watson like a premier scrambler, you would say in the NFL, getting out of sacks, stuff like that, using his legs. You're giving him a top 5 offensive line, something he's never had going back to his days in Houston. He's going to have all the time in the world, and he's going to have the running game with Chubb and Hunt to counter his arm. So it's like, that offense could be unstoppable. And we thought it was very, very good with Baker.
Yeah, I think they'll bring in Deshaun Watson's buddy Will Fuller too as a deep threat. So if you got Cooper, Will Fuller, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Cooper, Hunt, and Chubb and Watson, and that offensive line, and the defense with Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. Man, that's a good
this
team.
This is what I'm gonna say though. This is the key thing here with this move. So yes, the 230 million probably did move the needle. The offensive line probably had a little, hey, that's good for him too. But the thing that's gonna make this team so interesting is the fact, I believe they finished 4th this year, which means they'll hit 3rd or 4th. They're going to have the 3rd or 4th easiest schedule from the teams in that division, which is going to be key because the Bengals had that last year and look where they ended up, right? So, along with other things, they obviously won their way in that. But the Browns in the 2022 season could be the next team to jump onto the scene. Like with this signing, with everything else that they have done, the players they already have, right? They could be the team to go to the Super Bowl from the AFC. And that, I don't even think that's an over exaggeration. There was a lot of good teams in the AFC. We were just talking about the Bills. The AFC West is loaded. The AFC North is loaded, but that schedule will be key.
That's true.
And as well as health,
They'll probably also get a 2nd or a 3rd for Baker, to use in this draft too. So
yeah. No, I think, if Baker wasn't requesting a trade, I don't know how he wouldn't, with this news, but depending on whether or not there's a suspension, keeping Baker for 5-6 weeks could be ideal for them, but I don't think that's going to work out. So moving on to some other teams though in the same division, we kind of glossed over the Steelers. The Steelers are going to get somebody competent now that can throw the ball more than 15 yards. Their team is still very, very talented, very well coached as well. They're going to be a threat. And then the Bengals got better in their biggest weakness, which was offensive line. They couldn't, protect Joe Burrow. We saw that throughout the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. They get better at O-line, so they're going to be better, like I said, at their biggest weakness. And then the Ravens, they're just going to have, their guys back, the guys that they've had on their roster. They didn't really make a whole lot of moves. I believe they re-signed everybody that they They had up Marcus Williams. They grabbed him from the Saints.
I was gonna say that's a great pickup for
Yeah, that was a
Ravens,
great
who could
pickup.
not stop the pass last year at all after Humphrey went down.
And Morgan Moses too, as well at
Yeah.
tackle, because I know
Michael Pierce, former Raven, signs back with them. Just a big guy to stop the run. But yeah, continue.
No, I was just gonna say that the Ravens, they got so screwed over by injuries that people forget Lamar won MVP 2 years ago and they were freaking 14-2. You know what I mean? So they can win a lot of games. They're a very deadly team. So, this division is going to be crazy. But I think the main point that I want to take away from this is that do not overlook the Steelers at all, because Mitchell Trubisky with a top 5 defense went 12-4. Who knows?
I know. And then the Bears kind of blamed it all on him when things went wrong, and not on Matt Nagy, who was clearly the issue there.
Yeah.
Didn't utilize Trubisky's legs, and which is, I think, his best strength is his mobility and his athleticism, especially just getting out of the pocket and stuff. Not really like, straight line speed or anything, but
yeah,
he's super mobile. Like you said, I mean, he can throw the ball more than 15 yards. And yeah, I think this is a good pickup for them, because you do not want to be rolling out there with Mason Rudolph,
no,
Dwayne Haskins.
hell no.
Yeah, so yeah, this team is better than it was last year. That is for sure, because of the quarterback position, because I think Big Ben was probably the worst starter in the NFL last year. And then that defense.
Shut up, Big Ben though, man. That boy should have retired a year earlier, man.
Yeah, that defense, adding Miles Jack, adding Levi Wallace, 2 good pickups there. You get James Daniels, who is probably one of the Bears' best offensive linemen. And you brought in Brian Flores too, who's a defensive genius. So
yeah,
Brian Flores,
I didn't even know about that until you told me.
Mike Tomlin. Yeah, Brian Flores, Mike Tomlin. That defense is going to be scary, and this offense is going to be improved.
That's all they really needed was they didn't need to get it would have been nice if they got an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or whatever, but their offense is just going to be better just because they don't have Ben Roethlisberger. Like it's sad, great career. Like I said, should have retired a year earlier after that Browns playoff game, the one where Baker, basically won over the heart of Cleveland in that game. But yeah, this team is going to be very an underdog, I would say, a very solid underdog for the wild card position. I don't know if they win the division, but like we said, that's a tough division to win. So AFC South, moving on, the Jags, I just don't know why they got to throw so much money around, to guys that really should not be being paid that much. Christian Kirk kind of blew my mind. 4 years at $84 million for a wide receiver 3 that has not had 1,000-yard season. I don't know why they decided to spend that much money on Christian Kirk, but hey, even though they did throw a lot of money around, the thing that I think they did do is they got players. They got guys that are somewhat established. You know what you're going to get from them. Evan Ingram, you know what I mean? Brandon Sheriff. Like I said, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones is a nice piece too, but they're not going anywhere. So there's not a whole lot to talk about besides the fact that they just love to spend fucking money.
Yeah, I mean, I like the moves. I don't think Christian Kirk is a wide receiver 3.
Well, I mean, he was for what's it called?
The Cardinals, but he had 982 receiving yards last year. And I know played a big, he stepped up when Hopkins went down. But yeah, that is a lot of money to Christian Kirk, who hasn't been a wide receiver 1 at any point. And we'll see. At least you're surrounding Trevor Lawrence with some weapons. Zay Jones also, who had a solid year with the Raiders last year. Evan Ingram, I think, can still be. I mean, he's a freak of nature at the tight end position. Yeah. Speed. I mean, obviously his hands have been an issue. The drops have been an issue, but there's some promise there. Brandon Scherf, as you said, good pickup there. And then I like the pickups that they had on defense too, with Foyesade Oluokun from the Falcons. I really like him. I think he
Oh
can.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think he can do everything. He flies around the field. Good run stopper, big hitter, everything like that. Foley Fadukasi from the Jets. He's a great run stuffing defensive tackle. Had a tremendous year with the Jets last year. Darius Williams, corner who's been on the Rams Super Bowl experience and played a lot with that team too. So I like that they're at least trying. I mean, this team still is not good. Sorry, but they are at least kind of trying. They gotta create a whole new culture with Urban Meyer gone, and I think maybe bringing in a lot of players like this can kind of try to quickly reshape the culture there.
Yeah, a little restart, But yeah, looking at the other teams here, I'm just looking right now. I mean, the Texans, Jesus, they signed everybody and their mom.
I know.
And then the Titans kind of just did what they had to do, re-signing a lot of dudes. Harold Landry, huge re-signing for them. But the Colts, the Colts are still, like we said, maybe they go after Baker. Maybe they go after Jimmy Garoppolo. Who knows? They're still looking for a quarterback. But I don't even know how to say it. Yannick Ngakwe, right?
Ngakwe, yeah.
All right, just want to make sure I said it right. That's a huge pickup for them. I like that a lot. With DeForest Buckner on the line and Darius Leonard, you know what I mean? That defense is already great, and they're adding another dude. So
yeah, I wanted to talk about that because I think that was one of their main issues going down the stretch when they lost to the Jags and when they couldn't make the playoffs. They couldn't get any pressure because it was only DeForest Buckner out there, and there was no one else. And now Yannick Ngakoue, who can make a bunch of plays, who can force fumbles, who can do stuff like that, show up in the fourth quarter. Like you're always kind of fearing that pass rusher in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
they could just completely
change
the game with a forced fumble or something like that. And Yannick Ngakoue is the guy that can do that. So yeah, I like that move. They do get rid of Rock Yassin in the corner, but secondary is still solid, especially with Kenny Moore in there, a good corner. So yeah, I do like that move really for both the Raiders and the Colts.
Yeah, no, both teams got better from the trade. That's always great to see when you see a trade go through and it's like, all right, they both got better. I'll trade you this guy, you trade me that guy, whatever, right? So but like I was saying just a second ago, there's not a whole lot of other moves here in this division. I mean, this is also not a crazy talented division, a lot of rebuilding going on with the Texans and the Jags. And not the Colts, but they don't have a quarterback. And if they don't get one, they're officially not really that great either. But moving on to the AFC West, because this is the A-bomb. This is holy shit. Like the Denver Broncos get Russell Wilson, right? Randy Gregory, DJ Jones, like you were saying, huge pickup, very undervalued. I believe number 2 ranked defensive tackle in Pro Football Focus in 2021. They also, look at the Chiefs getting Juju and re-signing Frank Clark, getting Justin Reed, for replacing Tyrann Mathieu. You look at the Raiders, adding difference makers like Chandler Jones and Devontae Adams. And like you said, the Rock Ya-Sin cornerback, and Anthony Everett as well, to help that secondary. They're adding guys. Max Crosby re-signed as well. And then the Chargers, Mike Williams, they got him re-signed. JC Jackson, they spent a lot of money on him. Khalil Mack, they traded for him with the Bears. Like, to add to all the guys they already all have. I mean, this might be the most talented division that I've ever seen in the NFL. And I love it. I love it.
And the AFC North might be the second best you've ever seen.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Like, I'm a Broncos fan, and so, yeah, I'm definitely hype about this trade, this Russell Wilson trade. I think this is, I'm not disappointed with anyone that we lost, really. No fan, I think, can be a solid tight end, but he just, I don't know. The game plan was kind of off for him, and they've got a good tight end in Albert O, who's backing up Fant that kind of is basically Noah Fant 2.0 with speed. That's their main strengths. And then, Randy Gregory to pair alongside Bradley Chubb. That is definitely something the Broncos needed, was an edge. because you got Jonathan Cooper last year who was starting for like the final like 5 games of the year. He was a 7th round pick rookie. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a need there. I mean, he did play well, but definitely need DJ Jones. I think this is like the biggest. It could like not even trying to be like biased or anything. It could be like the most underrated pickup
Well, he
of the
took less money to
offseason.
go to the Broncos.
You said what?
He took less money to go to the Broncos. You
Yeah,
know that,
because
right?
Russell Wilson got traded there. Yeah. But DJ, this is where the Broncos struggled a lot last year was stopping the interior run because the defensive tackle who we traded Shelby Harris, he's more of a pass rusher. And then Mike Purcell, who's like our big, fat defensive tackle, he was out for a while.
Base eater, yeah.
Yeah. So then you bring in another fat guy, DJ Jones, which is exactly what the Broncos needed to try to stuff the run more. I like re-signing Deshaun Williams and Josie Jewell as well. So yeah, the Broncos did well. Chiefs, I love this Juju Smith-Schuster pickup because I think I've been telling you about this
Yeah,
a lot. Is I think they desperately needed a wide receiver
they
because
did.
um, all of those guys, Tyreek, McCole Hardman, Byron Pringle, who just signed to the Bears, all of them are just short speedsters. And Mahomes,
Track stars, yeah.
and what Mahomes likes to do is throw the ball up and give his receivers a chance. That's why Sammy Watkins was so good for them because he was bigger. Chris Conley was good for them too a couple years ago. So I like that Juju Smith-Schuster signing just to bring a little different element to the game rather than just track star on that offensive side of the ball. And then yeah, Justin Reed essentially replacing Tyrann Mathieu. That was a good pickup too.
Yeah, re-signed Frank Clark as well. I mean, and then you look at the Raiders, you look at the Chargers as well. I
I
mean,
can let you talk about this. What do you think? Maybe when we get to the Packers, we can talk about it. But
oh, Devontae, you want me to
yeah,
talk about? Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the relationship got sour. I mean, that's what it seems like because the Packers were willing to pay what the Raiders paid. I mean, if that's the case, then that's the case. We at least got a first and a second for him, which I'm hoping we can maybe package and go out and get another guy, and I did post this on the page, maybe it's Tyler Lockett. Maybe it's Julio Jones. Maybe it's Jarvis Landry. Maybe it's all three. Shit, I would love that too. But, getting moving off of him, it's tough to see. It's definitely tough to see, but at least we got Rodgers back. I think that is something that I can bank, my hopes on is, Rodgers makes dudes look like way better
they do.
than
That's
when
this is
they
what I
don't
was
got.
gonna say too. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like Alan Lazard, you were saying maybe he goes to do a tight end this year, becomes one of them big tight ends. I don't know if that's the case, but if it, he took him on and made something out of nothing, right? MVS, just really fast and tall. He's becoming a great route runner now, but Rodgers and him, that connection, he just makes guys better.
mm-hmm.
And that's not something that you get all the time with quarterbacks. But yeah, I mean, the Raiders are going to get the arguably best wide receiver in the NFL for the past 2 or 3 years. And that connection that Derek Carr already has with him, both going to Fresno State, I think is huge. And you're adding him, to a collection of talent like Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs. I mean, that is an amazing collection of weapons that Derek Carr now has at his disposal. And then Chandler Jones and Max Crosby, you know what I mean? Getting pass rushers to get after guys like Patrick Mahomes, guys like Justin Herbert and Russell Wilson. They've got two of the best pass rushers. Now, they're not better than Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, but Chandler Jones and Max Crosby is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then, add in the corners as well. I did like the Juju pickup. Like you said, it gives a little bit of a different dynamic to that offense, which is something I think they need desperately. And, yeah, looking at the Broncos as well, they already had a great roster intact for the most part, a couple needs, and they addressed all of them. And getting Russell Wilson will be a game changer. I think it might lead to them winning the division. And I don't want to say it too early because,
I mean, it seems like every single team is a toss up, right? It seems like every single team has a 25% chance to win this division.
I think it's really going to come down to who's the healthiest team. And that seems to be the case every year. when you're comparing teams are just so evenly matched, it's not one team's better than the other team. It's just who's playing, who's playing, who's available. And that could be, down the line, what is the difference for who wins this division?
Yeah.
And then also, just kind of glancing over the Chargers real quick. I think if any team will finish fourth, it might be the Chargers. And I'm just saying, just not because I don't believe in Justin Herbert, it's just they have like a Cowboys feel to me. Like, I don't know how to really explain it. They've got so much talent, and they've had talent, and they had talent last year, and they missed the playoffs, right? And it did come down to the last game against the Raiders, but who won? Derek Carr won that game. Does Justin Herbert take that next step up, and kind of surpass a guy like Derek Carr in those types of games? Maybe. The team has gotten significantly better, but still, questions with coaching. I have questions with coaching with them. And just, leadership. Justin Herbert's a quiet dude. He's always been a quiet dude. That was one of the concerns in the draft about him was, can he be that leader? Khalil Mack might, take that role for this team, just being the freaking monster that he is. But I don't know. Can Khalil Mack lead this team to a division title or the playoffs? I don't know. You're 31 or he's 31 years old, 32 years old, whatever. But do you have anything else to say on the Chargers?
On the Chargers, I mean, I really like all their pickups. They added two other defensive tackles too, with Sebastian Joseph Day and Austin Johnson. Obviously, they were the worst run defensive stopping team in the league, and you address that, especially with Khalil Mack, one of the best run defenders in the league too. So yeah, I mean, Mack, Bosa. I really don't know who wins this division. It just feels so weird saying, oh, I think this team is going to finish fourth, because all these teams could literally be like top four in that like AFC. I mean, it's great. You could have all these teams make the playoffs maybe. It just feels like a disservice to say a team is going to finish last in this division, which sucks, but it will happen. And I just don't know yet. I haven't really thought about it too much.
No, it's way too early too. I mean, the draft, is still coming around the corner. But moving on, the NFC side of things.
I just want to say something about the Raiders.
Yeah.
Real quick too, is I think going into this offseason, I think after the Russell Wilson trade, I think they had to make a decision to either trade Derek Carr and go into a rebuild because all the other teams in the division are amazing, or you go out and sign Chandler Jones and you bring in Davante Adams, and they went the aggressive route, which I
love it.
I like for him. Yeah. Which is crazy. I don't think Davante, I'm going to say this about Davante. I don't think he's the best wide receiver in the league. I think he's probably like top, like 7, I would say. I know that sounds.
Whoa. That means he's 7 then. That means he's 7.
Top 7. I mean, you can put him.
What? Whoa, bro. Come on. I know he's not on my team anymore, but shit.
Hey, as you said, I think Rodgers makes him look a lot better because he's not the fastest. He's not really a 50-50 deep ball, go get it type of receiver. He's a route runner with great hands. But every time I see him catch a ball, he's covered, but it's a perfect pass to the outside shoulder near the sideline. Like, there's that. So we'll see. He's still amazing. He's got great hands, great route runner. I just think Rodgers makes him look a lot better than he is. I don't think he should be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. I mean, he probably deserves it, but I don't think he is the best. But
I think if anything, we love Cooper Kupp, right? You like Cooper Kupp?
Mm-hmm.
He's just a better version of Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp works within the offense, as Davante, for me, is not necessarily is the offense, but he makes himself open. You know what I mean? With his route running. Cooper's a great route runner. Don't get me wrong. But there's also a lot of the play action stuff where he's over the top, running, just across the field, stuff like that, where it's just kind of like he's schemed to be open. And that's a shout out to Sean McVay and the great job that he does, as a play caller and a play designer. But Devontae, dude, come on, bro. Top 7?
Bro, I'm just saying, I'm taking Jamar Chase over him without a doubt. I'm taking, I think DJ Moore is top 3.
Whoa,
Yes.
whoa, whoa. No,
He can do
dude.
it all, bro. He has Sam Darnold throwing to him.
Oh my God.
Bro, there's a
Dude.
new age of wide receivers where it's, can you be like a guy who can take a screen 70 yards to the house? Devontae Adams can't do it. Those guys,
But Devontae is amazing. Yards after the catch.
but not like Jamar Chase or DJ Moore. He's not really breaking many tackles or anything like that. He might be like smart to see the field like Travis Kelce is, but like I don't know. He's a great receiver. He's top 7 receiver in the league, which
Top 7. Oh my God. I cannot believe this out of you. I've never heard this before. I just want to make sure everybody knows. I've never heard Asher say this before. He must have been saving it for the podcast. Devontae Adams is not a top 7 wide receiver. He's not a top 6 wide receiver. He's not a top 5 wide receiver, 4, 3, or 2. He's the number 1 wide receiver in the league. And you're going to see it on display. You're going to see why.
All right, we'll see.
The Raiders,
We'll see.
what if the Raiders win the division and it's because of Devontae Adams?
We'll see. If Devontae does what he did with Green Bay, with Derek Carr, all right, fine. He's top 3. But
I know you're going to be salty at the end of the season when it's going to come down to
it's
the
not
last
going to
game.
happen. I'm just saying it's not going to happen.
And Sertan's going to get his ass crossed up by Devontae. And it's going to be like a little just,
yeah, perfect pass, right? That's what Devontae is. But okay, anyways, I love this Raiders team now. Devontae, Waller, as you said, Brian Edwards too, and Hunter Renfrow. That's what they had to do. They either had to trade Derek Carr and go into a rebuild, which I didn't think they were going to end up even doing because you bring in a whole new coaching staff with Josh McDaniels. I feel like Josh McDaniels seems like I don't know, you sign him to kind of like win now, I guess. And Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator from the Giants, who's really good. They went the aggressive route, which I love. We'll see who wins the division. I don't know who will, but yeah, that's all. That's what I was going to say about the Raiders.
I got you. No, yeah, for sure. I am clipping that up. I hope you know that.
All right. Yeah, clip it, please.
And you're going to get a lot of backlash. That's all I'm going to say. And it's going to be Bears fans that are telling you too. Because I'm telling you, wait till you have him in your division. You got to play him twice a year.
All right, fine. I'm waiting.
Sertan's nice, but I don't know, man. Can he hang with Devontae? I don't know. We'll see. But moving on to the NFC side of things, I'm just good. I think it's almost beneficial. We just kind of match the NFC East and the NFC North together because all 8 of these teams didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, yeah, Aaron Rodgers comes back. That's huge for us, right? Kirk Cousins signs a deal, comes back, or that doesn't come back, but it extends his, contract or whatever. Vikings didn't really do much outside of that. The Lions are the Lions and the Bears are the Bears, making very questionable moves across the board. The Commanders trade for Carson Wentz. Going to play Philly twice a year. I guess that'll be a little bit interesting. Yeah. Jason Kelce did come back for the Eagles. $14 million a year, and a keg of beer was sent to his house as I believe his
present.
Yeah, present or trying to convincing tool thing. I don't know. And then the Giants and the Cowboys, absolutely nothing.
I like the Wentz move, I think, for Washington. He's better than Heineke. He's better than Fitzpatrick. He's shown he can be. He's not what he was in that MVP year, where he would have won MVP if he didn't get hurt. But he's shown that he can be almost at that level again, and maybe he will be with another team. But if he failed with he didn't really fail with the Colts, but if he didn't live up,
he failed with the Colts. He failed with the Colts, dude.
Yeah, I mean his stats.
I feel bad
good,
saying it too. You know what I mean? Because I was a huge Wentz guy. Like I was banging on the door saying they're gonna win the division. You watch and see. Wentz is gonna be back with Frank Reich, and it's gonna be that run game, that defense, that offensive line, everything. And they were freaking getting hot at the right time. And then what happened, man?
I know. He made stupid mistakes. I'm still taking him over like Jimmy G, guys like that, because he can make any throw. It's just like is he smart enough?
I
Is
think
he
it's the
accurate
decision
enough?
making. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
decision making, really.
But with that defense, that's talented too. I think this team is definitely competing with the Cowboys as the best team in that division. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think is a little bit interesting as well, or peculiar, is that, hey, the Giants I don't think are going to win the division, and the Eagles, maybe they make a little noise, but
Yeah.
probably not. The Commanders, with that defense, like you said, Rivera is their coach, Wentz, a little bit more stable at quarterback,
Mhm.
McLaurin, and the running back duo they got with Gibson and JD McKissick, they can make some noise, because the Cowboys are just fucking falling apart right now. I mean, in the most cowboy fashion too. The fact they got to trade Amari Cooper to keep Ezekiel Elliott, because Ezekiel Elliott got overpaid and he can't stay healthy and be even a top 10 running back.
Mhm.
I think it's hilarious. I love it. I mean, my
Yeah,
mom's a
no,
Cowboys fan,
it is
so
funny as well. Yeah.
I feel a little bit bad for her, but at
They
the same time,
signed Randy Gregory only for him to leave like 5 minutes later. That was hilarious too. Most Cowboys type of thing, probably. Like,
that is the most Cowboys type of thing. Yeah, I'm just looking at who they resigned. I mean, they lost out on Cedric Wilson as well.
yeah, they lost.
So, but yeah, outside of that, I don't really think a whole lot really changes here in the division. I mean, I would expect Dallas, or like you said, the Commanders to make a run for that. The NFC North is wrapped up. I think we can just kind of chalk it in. The Packers are going to win this thing. Yeah.
Oh, also, I was gonna say one thing. I don't like get this. Like, they traded Amari Cooper because Zeke's taken up so much. They had to trade him, right, to get under the cap or whatever. But then you give Michael Gallup this big deal, and it's like Cooper's better than Gallup. So I mean, like, I bet you could have like finagled your way into keeping
Yeah.
Cooper,
What was
not
the money on
keeping
it?
Gallup. Gallup 5 years, 57 million. So I mean that's less than Cooper's making, obviously, but I feel like they could have done, I don't know, something else to free up cap space and then kept Cooper, let Gallup walk.
Well, I
But
think it says right here the deal includes a $10 million signing bonus. So I believe that might eat up his salary for the first year, meaning they could have signed him to this deal and kind of escape the cap hell by trading Cooper,
mhm.
and then kind of just getting him
But
off
it's
the
like it's like they chose Gallup. I mean, but I know they did it because it's a cheaper contract, but it's like they chose Gallup over Cooper,
I
kind of.
mean, the only thing that, would scare me a little bit about Cooper is he just doesn't really come up in big games. There hasn't with the Cowboys. So maybe I think, Jerry's like, hey, I'm paying you $20 million and you don't show up or play when I need you. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that might have been kind of more the decision he was kind of dealing with there. But moving on to
the
NFC,
Giants really just didn't do anything. I kind of forgot about the Giants
the Giants.
existing.
Yeah, I know. Literally,
Tyrod Taylor. All right.
the only reason we're talking about these two things at the same time, these two divisions, is because the incompetency
Yeah.
with so many of these
Wait,
teams.
which one are you on? NFC North?
No, I was about to say South. I think we could just move on to the
Oh,
South, unless you want to say anything about the North, because I mean,
no,
we
I
were
mean, what do
sitting
you
down
mean?
about and just looking, the Bears. I mean, Equiminius St. Brown and Byron Pringle are going to be their starting wide receivers, along
It's
with
tough,
Daryl
yeah.
Mooney. Or
Yeah, I don't know what the Bears have been doing. They lost Larry Ogunjobi, who they signed, which I didn't even know why they signed in the first place. Failed his physical, so he's not gonna sign there. That was a weird signing in the first place. It's like you had Bilal Nichols, who's like better than Ogunjobi, and you let Nichols go, and then you bring in Ogunjobi, who's always hurt. I don't even know. And then yeah, Byron Pringle, Equinini St. Brown definitely, doesn't really help Justin Fields, especially after you lose Allen Robinson as well. Yeah, the Bears, Ryan Poles, the new GM there, has had kind of a weird offseason so far, but Lions signed DJ Chark. It's really it for them.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, there isn't a whole lot going on,
yeah, yeah. You can talk about the Packers if you want.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Devondre Campbell, love to see him back. 5 years at 50 million. I don't know if that's necessarily something that I would say I would have signed up for, but you know, we're keeping him. I like it. I like the way that he played all pro. I mean, shit, you can't go wrong getting him back. But 5 years at 50 million, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, that is pretty long for I think what the most invaluable position on defense.
Yeah, and I think the
Not
thing
that
too
great.
is that they probably finagled it some way where they can get out of it in a year or two and not really have much left on the books, which I'm fine with. If that's what it took to come, bring him back, then good for his agent, for getting the price up there. But we also got Preston Smith back on a new deal as well. I honestly would have preferred to keep Za'Darius over Preston.
He's still
That's a
out
little
there.
funky to me, but Za'Darius is, I think, a year older, maybe. I think they're about the same age, to be honest. I guess Preston's a little bit better of a run defender. He's a little bit bigger. Rashawn Gary kind of came into his own, so I think that's why they let Za'Darius walk on top of 27 million on the cap if
Yeah.
they kept him. And then Lazard, bring him back. MVS is still a free agent, so I guess we're moving off of him. I don't know why 6'5" can glide, and
Is
like
he
I said,
really? I didn't even know he was a free agent.
yeah, him and Lazard were free agents as well as Devontae. But hey, and then we got Pat O'Donnell, so woohoo, big woohoo, I guess. But I'm excited. I think we need to just go out and get some guys for Aaron to throw the ball to, and we just see what happens. Also, before I forget, speaking of the Packers, they, depending on how this Aaron Donald situation kind of figures itself out. I did talk to you about this earlier in the week. This could be a blockbuster deal that could send
Your inside sources are telling you this.
my inside sources inside of my head. Yes. Now, this is just something that I kind of came up with, pondered a little bit with you. But if the Packers were able to, like, let's say, free up a little bit more cap space and trade for Aaron Donald, that could be a Reggie White type move, a Charles Woodson type move. Bring a Super Bowl champion to Green Bay, pair him with Kenny Clark, which would be insane on the defensive line with Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, all those guys, right? Give up the capital you got for Devontae and a little extra because we're not going to draft anybody. You know what I mean? Just give away our first round picks. I don't care. I don't care about the picks. Literally F them picks. Like the guy on the Rams said, the GM.
Exactly.
And I mean, I know that he's probably going to stay with the Rams, and this is just kind of, very questionable, that they would even consider trading him. But if they can't figure out an agreement to make him the highest paid defensive player in the NFL, maybe the Packers do. And I would love to see that. I honestly keep throwing the ball, Aaron, the Lazard and MVS and whoever else, 0 receptions in their career that we've got on our roster. But if we get Aaron Donald, that could be like the piece, because the last 3 years we've tried winning a certain type of way and it just really hasn't panned out. So, I think that's why we let go Devontae. I mean, even though we were going to re-sign him and everything, and the, relationship went sour, maybe we just got to try a different way. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been the thing with the Packers the past few years, like, 13 wins each of the past 3 seasons, but it's never felt like they're an incredible threat, because I think they needed to add a real difference maker on both sides of the ball. I think they needed to add a difference maker on defense, and Aaron Donald can be that guy, obviously. And then I think they needed to add another wide receiver alongside Devontae, and they just never did. And that's why they haven't been winning in the playoffs. I just don't think they're as talented as people think they are going into the playoffs. And yeah, I mean, we'll see with Aaron Donald. He might even retire, because I think he was saying, oh, if Von Miller comes back and if OBJ comes back, I'll be back. Well, it doesn't. Von Miller's not coming back. It doesn't look like Odell's.
I just don't think he retires. I mean, he's he's been doing it for so long at such a high level, and there's no drop off. I think it would be foolish of him to retire, but he's made his money, so I wouldn't.
And he won the ring.
Yeah,
I just don't know, like, because as you said, like the Rams GM F them picks. Like, I don't know why he would trade Aaron Donald for picks that he hates.
Well, I don't know if it. I mean, I don't want to give up Jair, but that was kind of what we were talking about earlier in the week. You know, I foolishly did not include Jair Alexander in the trade because Jair plus Jalen Ramsey would be fucking insane for the Rams. But hey, it's probably not going to happen. I don't know why I'm talking about it. So let's talk about the NFC South. The big missers on Deshaun Watson.
All three of these teams.
Not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot going on with all three of these teams, except for the Bucks. The Bucks seemingly got better somehow. Tom Brady comes out of retirement, which I believe he tried retiring to facilitate a trade to the 49ers. That is still a big question mark that's going around the league. But he's back in Tampa Bay and gets Ryan Jensen back out of retirement. They re-signed Carlton Davis. They get Logan Ryan, former Patriot, comes over. Shaq Mason in a trade for a 5th rounder. Get him to protect Brady. They franchise tag Godwin, but then later agreed to a 3-year, $60 million contract. I mean, they kind of just got better, I think.
I know, and it makes no sense because it felt like their whole team was a free agent, and then Tom Brady came back. And it was perfect Tom Brady, right? No drama there. If Aaron Rodgers retired and then came back out of retirement, everyone would call him a diva, but not Tom Brady. Not everyone's perfect Tom Brady. But yeah, he comes back. That Shaq Mason deal is great, especially after they lost the guy to the Bengals, whatever his name is, Alex Kappa, I think. Yeah, it's Alex Kappa. He went to the Bengals, so they bring in Shaq Mason to kind of replace him. Ryan Jensen, great center. Carlton Davis, I think he's a really good corner. And then Logan Ryan too can kind of do everything, safety or a corner. Yeah, I think I agree. I think they literally got better somehow. Russell Gage too. I mean, that's a solid receiver.
Yeah.
And if they go and get like Julio or something.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Show it. It's so easy to tell people, hey, come down here to Florida, no state taxes. We got sun all the time.
I know, right?
So, and hey, by the way, I'm the GOAT. So yeah, you could throw that in there too.
Yeah. I mean, where would you rather? Would you rather be in Tampa, Florida, or in Green Bay, Wisconsin? Like,
man, hey, Green Bay's a nice town, huh?
I know, but it's
8,000 strong.
Cold. It's cold. It's Wisconsin. I don't know what's in Wisconsin.
Hey,
yeah, I don't know how they got better, bro. It's kind of makes me good.
The last division we got here is the NFC West, and I think the Rams were big winners, even though they lost Von Miller and still don't know what's happening with OBJ. They got Allen Robinson, which I think is huge for them. We were talking about this right before the podcast. You pair him with Cooper Kupp and then Robert Woods, who will come back about halfway through the season or maybe even earlier with that torn ACL from last year. And if they do, get back Odell, which I don't think it's going to happen now because they did get Allen Robinson, but they'll have 3 really good wide receivers with Matthew Stafford and Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson, or forget his name, the Henderson guy.
It is Darrell.
Okay.
Or something.
Yeah, the running back there. They lost a little bit, like I said, on defense with Vaughn and some other guys, but they need to get back Donald, and they'll be fine. I think they'll still be a top 3 team in the NFC. The 49ers, Oren Burks, excuse me. Nice signing there. Nice little linebacker
I like Travarius Ward for them too.
Yeah, Travarius Ward's very nice. And I guess George Odom, all-pro special teamer. So shout out to that.
First team all-pro George Odom. Never heard of him, but he made the first team all-pro.
The Cardinals, lost Christian Kirk, not much else. And Chase Edmonds as well. They didn't really do a whole lot else as far as getting players. And then, the abomination in Seattle on the West Coast. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to Ryder Hansen. Y'all are gonna become the most irrelevant team pretty soon.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a lot with the Seahawks. There's a lot with Russell Wilson coming out that questionable how they handled him. Seems like they've been trying to push him out for a while now, a couple of years.
I mean, Bobby Wagner, they cut and they didn't even call.
Yeah, there's just Pete Carroll. football, I think, is past its time.
Yeah,
This whole run the ball and play defense, it's not his thing. You let Russ in 2020. Russ is the MVP after 8-10 weeks or something. After the whole public thing of let Russ cook, right?
yeah.
And he's MVP, and you're playing really well. And then he has 1 or 2 bad games, and just completely go away from it, and then just go back to the run and play defense. And then Russell Wilson can't get going anymore after that. But it's just like, I don't know. The Seahawks, it seems like they've been wanting to push Russell Wilson out for a while now. And they just haven't. I don't know what it is about. Maybe there's a Russell Wilson problem that we don't know about, of how he, I don't know, plays, whatever, how he handles himself. But yeah, it's kind of weird.
Hey, his baggage is your baggage now, man. His baggage
I know.
is your baggage.
I know. We'll see. This is what I'm saying. We'll see. Is Russell Wilson a drama queen, or was it the Seahawks really trying to force him out for whatever reason? Because I think Russ kind of wanted to play his game as a ball dominant playmaker, and Pete Carroll and the Seahawks wanted to run the ball, play defense with a shitty defense the past 3 years. So I don't know.
That's the best way to put it. You want to run the ball with like literally a new running back every week because everyone's getting injured.
I know, and then one of the worst offensive lines in the league too.
With a shitty ass defense. That's
okay. And then this other thing is with the Seahawks, they haven't. So you get 2 first-round picks, okay? You need to hit on these 2 first-round picks for this trade to be a win. You bring in Shelby Harris, which I don't understand either, because you're far away from competing, and you just bring in a 30-year-old good defensive tackle. I don't understand that. But you have to hit on these 2 first-rounders. And you know what they haven't done the past 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, is hit on a first-round pick, is hit on a top 50 pick. I was looking through it. Their best pick since that 20
or 12, I think it was.
Yeah, the draft with Wilson and Sherman and all them. Since then, their best first round pick is Jordan Brooks, the linebacker that they took.
Well, wasn't DK a second rounder or was he a third rounder?
He was outside the top 50. So okay. So in the top 50, which is where these first round picks will be, and maybe a second round or 2, their best pick is Jordan Brooks. So they have not hit on a player in this draft, and I just bring in all these draft picks. So I don't know. I mean, I don't trust them to really rebuild.
I love it because guess what? They screwed me over lots in the past.
Yeah, they did.
And I'm glad this kind of coming around now.
I've always hated the Seahawks, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. Some of the best uniforms in the NFL. So it's not bad as long as they don't wear them freaking highlighter ones.
That's what I'm saying.
As long as they don't wear those ones. But looking at some of the top, available guys left. I mean, Teron Armstead is still in the market. Tyrann Mathieu, Odell. We talked about Stephon Gilmore, Lael Collins, Jameis Winston. That's a little bit surprising. Maybe the Colts go after him. I think that would be
I think he's probably going back to the Saints.
Okay. I mean, that is fair as well. I mean, since they did miss out on Deshaun Watson. Yeah. Bobby Wagner, Jadeveon Clowney, Zadarius Smith backed out of that Baltimore deal. Calais Campbell, Melvin Ingram, Rob Gronkowski probably going to go back to the Bucs.
There's still a lot of guys out there.
Yeah, Jarvis, Fletcher Cox, Jerry Hughes. There's a lot of guys that are still on the market here. And now I'm just hoping, the Packers use this cap space that they have now to go after somebody, to just somehow recruit some guys. Be like, hey, we've felt that we've been there, the last couple years. Last 2 years at least. The 3 years ago was, we had a bad schedule, or we had a good schedule, but it was like against the worst teams. I believe we finished 4th because of the injury to Rodgers, and we're kind of a fraud. All right, I'll give you that. We could not beat the 49ers. They had our number. But the last 2 years, we could have won the Super Bowl. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. It's just things just didn't fall our way. I mean, Tom Brady gets lucky as shit, like usual. Jimmy G becomes Tom Brady for one drive, after scoring 3 points the whole game.
Yeah.
And mind you, the Packers getting giving up 10 points basically from special teams, blocked field goal and a returned blocked punt. So, when things happen like that, it's like, wow, it's really like everything is just pinned up against us. And if they can just kind of leverage that, be like, hey, I know it might be Green Bay, but listen, we've got one of the best quarterbacks of all time here. We're trying to win now. And maybe you talk to Calais Campbell and be like, hey, go eat up some blocks, man. Let Kenny and you just go eat up that stuff. Let's be a great run stopping defense. I feel like our defense for so long has never had like an identity. You know what I mean? Like there was 2014 when we got Julius Peppers and we had Clay still, and we could really get after the quarterback. I thought that was like kind of our identity then. We've never been like a great secondary team. We've never been a great run stopping team. It's just kind of like flashes. And I think if we can really try and stop the run and get after the, pass rusher, that's going to force, long third down, third and distances, you know what I mean? Second and longs, you know what I mean? And that's just something we can't do with just Kenny Clark. We need some other beef up there. And that's when we were at our best. I think you go back at our Super Bowl year, we had some great guys up front, some great secondary guys, and the pass rushers. We had the whole bit. So I think we just got to kind of leverage that, and as well as getting weapons. We need some weapons. And I think Jarvis might be the guy they go after. Julio, like you said, seems like if he's going to go anywhere, why not Florida, with Tom Brady?
That's literally a retirement home.
Yeah, literally. It's like literally a retirement home. But yeah, if we go after, and get Jarvis, pair him with Randall Cobb, maybe go out and try and get Julio, but it's probably not going to happen. We just need a big target, if we're going to get Jarvis, we need a big target with him because, we haven't really had one for a while.
I was going to say, and
stature.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember last night, I was talking to you about this trade, and I think it could literally make the Packers better. And this isn't because I'm so low on Devontae Adams or anything like that. I think if they go and maybe get 2 wide receivers in the first round, is what I was telling you last night. You didn't seem to agree.
Yeah, no, I remember. No, yeah, I remember. Yeah,
oh, you do. Okay,
explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you get 2 first-round wide receivers, like if you get like Chris Olave and you get like Traylon Burks or Garrett, whatever, one of these receivers, 2 of these receivers in the draft, and then you bring in like a Julio or a Landry or Odell, and you re-sign MVS, I'm taking that, the 2 first-round pick wide receivers, MVS, and the free agent wide receiver. I'm taking that core over Devontae and MVS and Cobb, like for Rodgers. I just think if you get like it seems,
I could see it.
It seems like having a big core of good wide receivers is more valuable than having one amazing guy.
I agree, but also disagree. I see where you're going, and I know Olave, is high on a lot of people's boards. I haven't been so much involved with the, scouting process and how these guys are, ranking up against each other. But hey, it'd be nice, but I don't think Aaron wants guys that are trying to learn. If Olave can be like a Jamar Chase and just kind of hit right off the bat, Justin Jefferson type, and he's prepared, yeah, but he's also been playing in the Big Ten. And, a lot of these guys that are really ready to play now are the guys that come from the SEC because they're playing all the best recruits all the time. And that's no disrespect to Olave, but, I just think we need to go and get guys now. And also another wide receiver, possibly Tyler Lockett, possibly using the capital that we got for Devontae, and kind of leveraging that and being like, hey, if you guys don't want to pay Tyler Lockett,
or DK.
Or DK, yeah. Shit. Well, I'll take both. I'll take both of them. but yeah, I mean, if we could go out and get a guy like that, and then get a Jarvis, I think it's going to be a combination, like you said, a group, more so than it's just going to be one dude. So, yeah. Do you want to talk about the NBA a little bit real quick too?
Yeah, yeah.
Playoff preview. I know we kind of been hitting hammering down on the NFL stuff. I mean, it's been crazy. Every day something's happening, but the NBA has been coming down the stretch, and just looking at the standings right now, I mean, Boston's been on a tear. The Bulls have not. I mean, remember when the Bulls were the number 1 seed and now they're the 5 seed? Doesn't help when you don't have Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, but I didn't know that was their foundation.
I know, right?
You know what I mean? So
where are you, DeMar? Where is MVP?
Yeah,
DeMar,
I mean,
man?
they've been playing. They've been playing well, but
I know they've been playing, but they haven't been winning. That's what I'm saying. Like, show up, DeMar. Show up, Zach LaVine. And this is what I think their problem is in the playoffs too. It's just all their players, other than Lonzo and like Caruso, whatever, their top three, Vucevic, LaVine, and DeRozan, are scores. They're just pure isolation scores. That's what they are. DeMar can kind of play. He's gotten way better at playmaking since the Raptors days, but still, his main thing is forcing up mid-range shots, and a lot of them go down, thankfully. Same with LaVine, and
LaVine's a great 3-point shooter, though.
Yeah. That's why. Yeah. But he doesn't like pass. I mean, they're just all scorers, and DeMar DeRozan, known as a playoff choker. I think you need a good combination of scoring and playmaking to really go far. LeBron James, best playmaker, probably this past generation, and that wins rings. Steph Curry, a great off the ball playmaker, that wins rings. Not these isolation scores, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Melo never really was that successful.
Exactly. Yeah, Melo, Derrick Rose. John Morant, I'm predicting in the future.
He's a Ja hater for everyone who doesn't know. He's a Ja Morant hater. I can't believe it. Cannot believe it. But
I actually am. Devin Booker couldn't do anything until a playmaker showed up on his team. So that's just what I'm saying. I think they're just way too isolation heavy. I know Lonzo Ball, that's what he is. He's a playmaker, and they need him desperately. So maybe he can really fuel a playoff run. But yeah, the Bulls are kind of concerning to me.
Looking at the Western standings, like you said, guess Ja Morant sucks, even though the Grizzlies are the 2 seed. Warriors are the 3 seed.
They're just a 12-3 without Jaws. Clearly,
I know you always bring up that stat.
They might even be 13-3 now.
Yeah, no, the West is I mean, oh my God, I'm just looking at the Lakers record right now. 29-40. They're 9-23 on the road.
They haven't won a game since the All-Star break when LeBron doesn't score 50.
Yeah. Yep. It's bad.
Every single game. I actually bet on this Raptors Lakers game. Raptors to win by more than 11. Because I think they just
probably is gonna hit
every game.
But hey, looking at some of the contenders and stuff, I mean, I think the Suns are the clear-cut favorite.
Yeah.
Assuming health, because CP3 is back, right? I think.
No, not yet.
Okay, when he comes back, he'll have fresh legs for the playoffs. But Steph going down is going to screw up the Warriors completely. I mean, they're not going to have arguably, not arguably, sorry, I almost messed up. He's not arguably the best player. He's a top 5 player, because the best player in the league
plays in Denver.
Oh, nope. His name is Giannis Antetokounmpo from Greece. He is the best player in the league. I love Jokic. Is he top 5? Maybe.
Yeah, he's top 3.
Maybe he's top 7.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the West, looking at some of these matchups, kind of just how the standings are right now, if they were to stay, the Nuggets and the Warriors, I think, will be a really interesting first round series, especially with Curry maybe being out for that. The Mavericks and the Jazz do not fail to disappoint. Luka and Spencer Dinwiddie versus, Donovan Mitchell and them boys in Utah. But yeah, I think the Suns, I'm not so high on the Grizzlies as well either. I think, if the Clippers beat the Timberwolves, right, and they get Paul George back and everything in the play-in, the Clippers could upset the Grizzlies in the first round, which would be not necessarily surprising, but that could happen. I think that could happen.
The Timberwolves have been on fire, 9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about the Timberwolves. Let's not give Ryder too much
Okay.
juice here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they've been all right. 9-1's like all right. I think it's it's not that. But
Cat is funny to me. Cat just anytime he plays Jokic, he just literally just tries to be Jokic. It makes me laugh. Like he just passes. He tries all these fancy passes. I'm like, all right, Cat, you are not Jokic. Settle down, buddy. Keep shooting threes.
Go back to the East, though.
The Suns. I was gonna say the Suns. 7-3 in their last 10. I think all of them. Yeah, all of them have been without CP3, and that just shows like this team. The team is so deep. I mean, it's like any player they put out there is a great rotational piece. So yeah, I think the Suns are the
Credit
favorite.
to Monty Williams.
Yeah, I know Monty Williams doing a great job. Yeah, I'm hoping as a Nuggets fan we get Murray and Porter back.
I think that could be the dark horse. Really,
Porter's supposed to come back in a couple days, like next week. And it's Friday, so next week is 3 days. So
I think you guys at the 6th seed right now is probably the best position you can be at, because like I said, if you guys beat the Warriors, like a Stephless Warriors in the first round, and then let's say the Clippers do win the play-in and they play the Grizzlies or the Timberwolves, whatever, I think either of those teams could beat the Grizzlies. And that's no disrespect to the Grizzlies. I just think that they're so young. It's like almost hard to put some stock in a 7-game series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Clippers more so than the Timberwolves. I don't like the Timberwolves. The Clippers.
The Clippers with PG. I don't know what the whole Leonard situation is. It feels like he's going to be out for the year, but I don't think they've actually said that, so I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, looking at how that will line up for you guys, I mean, if you guys beat the Warriors and then beat a 7 or 8 seed, or have to play the Grizzlies, I mean, you're almost coaching to the Western Conference Finals.
I don't know.
That's a Stephless Warriors now. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah, Stephless, right?
Because with Steph, that's going to be.
I don't want to play him. I know. That's what I'm saying. I want, like, the Nuggets are only a game and a half back of the 4 seed. If you could play Dallas first round, I would take that. Utah first round, we just beat them a couple years ago, but they were up 3-1. So I mean, it is tough. But I would definitely rather play Dallas, Utah, Memphis over the Warriors.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, though, if you get in that 4-5 spot, the Suns, you're gonna have to play them in the second round, and that's the team that you're gonna have to beat to make the finals. So
that is true.
That could be interesting. But
I'm hoping, which really sucks now because Curry's out. I was hoping the Warriors would get the 2 seed and then we get a first round matchup with the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen because Curry's going to be out.
So. Yeah. Well, looking back at the East as well, just some of the matchups that might happen. I mean, it's so jumbled, cram-packed in the East. Teams have been on streaks. Teams have been on losing streaks. Like we've been saying. The Cavs are tied with the Raptors right now, record-wise. I mean, they were top 3, top 4 seed. They kind of fell off a little bit, 4 and 6 the last 10.
Yeah, Jared Allen has been out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Nets are kind of screwed because they're going to win the playing game against the Raptors, but what happens? And they play Milwaukee the first round.
I think they would play the Hornets in the play-in, right?
No, the 7-8 play and then the 9-10 play. And then
right. It's not okay. I was thinking it's like 7-10. 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, Brooklyn might be screwed unless they, get out of the 8th seed, which they're 3 games back or 2.5 games back right now from the 6th seed from the Cavs.
Are you saying they would be screwed because they'd have to play the Heat?
Well, look at the top teams in the East. I mean, the Heat, the Bucks, the 76ers.
Yeah, I know. That is crazy.
Celtics have been on fire. Like, you're telling me that the Nets are going to have to play one of those guys in the first round. Then in the second round, they're going to have to play another one of those guys probably. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, they have to play the top team or the last team remaining, which is most likely going to be one of these powerhouses. I mean, their road to the final is not going to be easy.
And you don't know, is Kyrie going to be able to play the home games?
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. It just makes me sad because the fact that we've got these stupid ass rules in place and we're just not letting a guy cook who can literally cook.
Dude,
Like,
did you see him against the Magic?
Yeah.
40 points, I think, wasn't it, in the
First half, yeah.
41 in the first half.
Yeah.
He's unreal.
Insane.
When he gets going, yeah.
Absolutely insane. But yeah, I mean, just kind of looking at like the playing teams outside the Nets. I mean, the Hawks, the Hornets, the Raptors, all kind of just good teams. I still don't understand how Trae Young is this far down in the standings. Kind of disappointing, to be honest.
Team.
But
Eastern Conference Finals team last year, and under 500 now.
I love Trae. That's why
it's really the same team. Like, that's why it's weird. And yeah, I love Trae too.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, if the Bulls got to play the Celtics in the first round or the 76ers, I mean, I don't think that's, I told people, all these Bulls people at the beginning of the season, I was like, yeah, I like the moves, but come playoff time, like, what's that going to result? Who's going to be the guy that steps up? You know what I mean? DeMar, like you said, playoff choker. Levine, never been to the playoffs. Vucevic, been to the playoffs with the 8th seed Magic. You know what I mean? So Lonzo, what has he done? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Russo's the most experienced guy on there.
I know.
So maybe he'll show up. I don't know. But yeah, I think they're probably first round exit. Same with the Cavs. It's very top heavy, and I'm excited to see how it plays out with the Heat, the Bucks, the Sixers, the Celtics now in that conversation. And then, whenever the Nets decide to, get out from the 8th seed, basically. So yeah, I mean, they had Kyrie. I don't think they'd be in that position whatsoever. Obviously.
Yeah, I think Kyrie is only gonna play 3 of the last 12 games because they have so many home games.
Wow. That's
like, you got to watch out because the 10 seed Hawks are right there. I mean, they could fall to the 10 seed.
And the Hornets aren't bad either.
Games in the play-in. Exactly, yeah. I mean, Kevin Durant's probably going to carry them to keep this 8 seed, but you never know. If he gets dinged up, misses like 3 or 4 games, and they lose all of them and drop down to 10, and you got to win 2 games in the play-in.
Yeah, well, the thing
make it in to have to face the Heat in the first round, like, damn.
That's what I'm saying too. Is if he's got to really like push to kind of stay in this, seeding wise, 7, 8 or the 8, 9, whatever they're going to finish as. If he's got to push these last 15 games or so, and he, is tired coming into the playoffs. I mean, shit. Last year he had to be asked to do what LeBron has done for his whole career in one series and was very, very, very tired and depleted, right? So what happens if these last 15 games, he's got to really carry this team without Ben Simmons, who still isn't playing? I don't know why. Kyrie Irving can't play home games. Like, I don't know. It's a mess in both. Yeah. It's almost as bad as the Lakers, but
yeah,
that mess is.
But it's better though. Yeah. Hey, look at the Hornets. The Hornets are literally just the definition of a mid team.
Mid-pack.
Like 35-35. They're 22-22 in their conference. 17-17. 18-18 away.
That's fine.
They'll probably go like 1-1 in the play and miss it.
Yeah, no, but hey, do you like anybody in particular coming out of the East? Because I'm still rolling with the NBA champion.
Yeah, after the trade, I was saying the Nets, but I did not know Ben Simmons was going to be holding out this long. I did like the Sixers after the first 3 games with Harden, but they've been falling off a little bit. I think if I had to pick one team, it would probably be the Bucks. If I had to pick a second team, it'd be like a dark horse, but they're not really dark. To make the finals would be the Celtics.
Depending on how Tatum, yeah.
Their defense is just so good. Like
It is.
they're never going to be out of any game because the defense is going to hold the team to under 110 every single game. And they can score too, obviously.
Yeah. I think it's probably going to depend how much Tatum can kind of hold this high level of play that he's been, performing at. And as well as, can Jaylen Brown be the consistent number 2 that they need? Because if they're going to get 50, 55 points a night from those two dudes, they're probably going to win a lot of games in the playoffs. So I think it's just going to really come down to that, to be honest. But yeah, honestly, I could see a Bucks Suns rematch. Honestly, I would love to see a Bucks Nuggets though. Like I said, dark horse out of the West for me is definitely the Nuggets, getting all their guys back at the right time, and Jokic still playing at an MVP level. I honestly, because like I don't want to see the Suns back again, to be honest. It would be nice for them to lose twice, in a row. Sorry, all my Arizona friends, but it would be nice to see him lose again to Giannis. But I think it might be the Nuggets. I'm serious with that. I would put some money on that if I were you.
Yeah, it's just tough. Like even a fully healthy Suns team against a fully healthy Nuggets team, I'm taking the Suns. As a Nuggets fan, because I don't think the Nuggets match up very well against the Suns at all, especially with their pick and roll stuff, Jokic having to be involved in that. But the Nuggets do have, that's a lot of offensive firepower with Murray and Porter and Jokic, obviously.
You guys have the best backup point guard too, you were saying.
Yeah, we do. And the best backup center too, with Boogie. So,
yeah.
There's just not really we don't have like a perimeter defender, Yeah. Aaron Gordon's our best defender on the perimeter. So
it might be a shootout, it might just have to be a shootout for 7 games. But I'm really excited to kind of just get into this basketball mode, you know what I mean? Just really plow through with the playoffs and see how they unfold. I'm also just ready for the season to be over, as a LeBron.
I know, I'm just ready. Can we just start the playoffs already? Like I'm done.
Yeah, I know. And being a Thunder fan as well, the regular season really just does not matter to me.
Yeah, you're looking forward to like 2028.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the draft every year and then the offseason. That's really the biggest time for me to get excited, because we're going to use those picks to draft some good dudes, and we're going to use those picks to trade for some guys. Now, believe that. There's no way that we make a selection for every pick that we traded for. If we do,
yeah, that doesn't even make any sense. You're gonna have like 20 players.
I just I'm really excited for this offseason.
Dude, there's some of these Thunder players like Lindy Waters, Olivier Sarr, Vit Krejci.
All I'm saying is that Poku guy, I love that Poku guy.
Yeah, and
SGA and Giddey and fucking Darius Baisley, and we got Dort still. I mean, dude, we've got some
it's a good core. It's a good young core already.
Yeah.
Even without using any of these picks yet.
Trey Mann too. I think he's been playing pretty well.
He's good. Yeah, I like Trey Mann.
Yeah. So, we'll see. It's still a year or two away. Who knows? Maybe we'll trade for LeBron James.
Yeah, maybe. You got LeBron to OKC.
Ooh.
LeBron would have to trade himself to OKC though.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if that would happen.
Yeah.
Unless you need to draft his kid. That's what has to happen.
Yeah, see, we've got all the picks. We've got.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You got all.
Let's go.
There's literally no reason why you shouldn't be able to draft Bronny.
Yeah, no, I'm excited though, because I think the one thing that we are missing is like one of those like wing, and I don't want to say wing scores, because then I just ultimately think of Kevin Durant, but we need a guy like that. We need a Paul George, a Kevin Durant. Like those are some of the guys we've had in the past. We need one of those dudes in the next year or two in the draft. And I think the play that we make is getting a big. So what if, I don't think Joel Embiid will ever get traded from Philly. If anything, it'll be Harden again. But I'm trying to think, like, what big could we like target in the next year or two that may become unhappy? Maybe it's Zion. I mean, Zion thinks he's too big for New Orleans, so I don't know how he would do in OKC.
Yeah.
But maybe it's
him, Vucevic.
Oh,
Vucevic is, I know he's
No.
bad. I'm just trying to like think
I don't know.
I don't know.
There's somebody out there though, and
There
they're
will
gonna be
be.
on my team. You know what I mean? Maybe it's
Someone.
Wiseman. Maybe it's Wiseman.
Could be. I think he's a bust, but
I just don't think he fits with the Warriors in the way that
yeah.
they like. They've never had a big center. You know what I
I
mean?
know. And the thing with Wiseman that makes no sense is like the Warriors, they use all those screens and everything, and he's like one of the worst screen setters I've seen. So it's just kind of like it is a weird fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that pretty much does it, right?
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good if you're good. Another great episode will be coming next Friday. Tune into the Stallion Sports Network, still known as Stallion Times Sports. For that preview of our podcast. But I had a great time, dude. We'll see you next week, guys. This is The Edge, and thanks for tuning in.
Peace.